Welcome back in Revenews International exclusive interview with His Excellency Scot Marciel, the U.S. Ambassador to Indonesia. Still with the topic of the current situation of the U.S. economy situation and also the future cooperation with Indonesia. Continue our discussion, your Ambassador. People always talk about the U.S. crisis. Is there any crisis actually?
No, I mean, we have our challenges, of course, but we were in economic crisis in 2008, early 2009 for sure. But as I mentioned, the economy has been growing. We're able to borrow money at record low levels, so certainly investors have a lot of confidence in the U.S. economy, and it's getting steadily better. I think what happens is sometimes people, as I said, people focus on the budget debates in Washington, which can be kind of loud and a little bit chaotic, and they maybe assume from that the economy is in crisis, but in fact it's not.
Okay. U.S. Economy situation also contribute more in the global economy situation. Could you please share your opinion according to the global economy situation that now in 2013 predicted to be better?
Yeah, I mean, the world economy always faces some challenges, and clearly there are challenges this year as well. But overall, as I said, the U.S. economy is growing, probably growing at a faster rate than last year. Europe is working through its problems. There seems to be renewed growth in China and elsewhere in the world. So there's plenty of challenges, but overall I think the outlook is quite positive.
Any comment about the European condition and also the Asia, China and everything?
Well, I mean, Europe, I think everyone's very familiar with the challenges Europe has gone through recently, particularly recently with Cyprus, but I think the European Union has been working and making progress in dealing with those. As I said, my understanding is that the Chinese economy, after some slowdown, is accelerating again, and more broadly in Asia, I think there's a lot of good economic growth, including Southeast Asia and Indonesia.
So the U.S. economy sounds very well doing now. In 2013, what's strategy and what's next plan after maybe the semester will be ended, and then how is in the second semester until the end of 2013?
Well, we're going to do all we can to keep our growth up and create more jobs because we still have too many unemployed people. So that's going to be a high priority. And at the same time working to reduce our budget deficit so that we don't run into long-term debt problems. And another big part of it is going to be promoting international trade, both in the WTO, but continuing our efforts to negotiate this trade agreement in Southeast Asia, and now with Japan joining the Trans-Pacific Partnership. President Obama recently announced that we would begin trade negotiations with Europe. So trying to promote more free trade because we believe very strongly that free trade creates prosperity for a lot of people.
Yeah. Talking about Southeast Asia, ASEAN becoming the new spotlight in the world, then become ASEAN Community 2015 and in 2 more years. So how do you see this about the current situation in Southeast Asia, including Indonesia as the big economy?
Well, overall, Southeast Asia is doing quite well economically, and we've been strong supporters of ASEAN's vision of one community, one economy by 2015. I think that integrating the economies, reducing barriers to trade, promoting trade between the countries of ASEAN can do a lot to continue to boost growth in the region. And ASEAN's a very important region for us politically and economically, so we're very much committed to being good partners with you.
Which member of country in ASEAN that become the most attractive for the U.S. economy to be cooperation with?
Well, I wouldn't pick one. I mean, we want to work with all 10 members of ASEAN, and for different companies, they will want to work more in one country or another, depending on the situation in that country. But certainly, you know, a number of the ASEAN countries are growing. The Philippines is growing very well now. Thailand, Indonesia. Of course, there's a lot of interest recently in opportunities in Burma further down the road.
Could you please share about the connection with U.S. to the ASEAN, ASEAN as a member, Indonesia as a member of ASEAN, and the cooperation with the U.S. and Indonesia, this synergy?
Sure. Well, again, we think ASEAN is a hugely important region of the world, the 10 member countries, very important politically and economically. We have a good partnership with ASEAN that has us mostly in supporting ASEAN's efforts. And combined with a population of almost 600 million people, it's hugely important. Indonesia, the biggest country in ASEAN, and so we very much want ASEAN to succeed and all the members of ASEAN to succeed, including Indonesia. So we have a good partnership with Indonesia, but with all the other members, and we think they reinforce each other.
Now we focus on the relationship with Indonesia after the break.
Okay.
Yes, Ambassador. We'll be right back after this one. Stay with Revenews International.